Hey there, quick question. Have you ever said something like, I have some informations for you? Or maybe, I need to buy new furnitures. Yeah? Don't worry, you're not alone. These kinds of mistakes happen all the time, even with advanced English learners. And honestly, I totally get why. Some words just feel like they should have an S at the end when you're talking about more than one. But here's the thing. English doesn't always play fair. So, in today's episode, we're diving into a sneaky group of words called uncountable nouns, and why adding an S to them is actually wrong. Yep, wrong. Even if your brain swears it sounds better. But don't worry, I'm not here to give you grammar rules and leave you confused. I'm going to give you clear examples, natural alternatives, and some super useful expressions you can start using right away. So the next time you're tempted to say furnitures or advices, you'll know exactly what to say instead and sound more natural, fluent, and confident. By the way, we've prepared a complete PDF guide for this lesson, including all the examples, tips, and explanations you'll hear today. You can download it for free using the link in the description. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's fix one of the most common mistakes in English. Together. Ready? Let's go. An uncountable noun is a word that you can't count. Like you can't say one advice, two advices, or three informations. Why? Because these words refer to things that are not separate objects. They're more like ideas, materials, or categories of stuff. Let me give you an example. Think about the word water. You don't say a water or waters, right? You just say some water or a glass of water. Same thing with words like furniture, advice, money, knowledge, and traffic. Even though they feel like they should be plural sometimes, they aren't. And here's the tricky part. In many other languages, these words are countable. So if you're used to saying informations or advices in your language, it's totally normal to make the same mistake in English. But here's the good news. In this episode, I'm going to show you which common English words are uncountable, why they work that way, and how to say things naturally without sounding awkward. You'll also learn smart alternatives that native speakers use every day, like a piece of advice or a bit of information. Trust me, once you get this down, you'll sound way more fluent and confident too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's also learning English. Ready? All right. Now, let's get into the part that surprises a lot of learners. It's what I like to call the no S list, a group of words that seem like they should be plural, but they're not. In this section, I'll walk you through 15 of the most commonly misused uncountable nouns, words that learners often get wrong, like informations, advices, or furnitures. For each one, I'll explain why it's uncountable, how to use it with quantifiers like some, a lot of, or much, how to express quantity correctly, like saying a piece of advice instead of an advice, and give you a natural, real-life example. So let's break the habit of adding that S where it doesn't belong and learn how native speakers really use these words. 1. Information. Information is uncountable because it refers to a mass of knowledge, not individual units. Use with some information, a lot of information, much information. Unit, a piece of information. Alternative, a fact, a detail. She gave me a useful piece of information. 2. Furniture. Refers to a category, not separate items with plural form. Use with some furniture, a lot of furniture. Unit, a piece of furniture, an item of furniture. Alternative, a table, a chair, a couch. We bought a few pieces of furniture for the apartment. 3. Equipment. A general term for tools or gear, not individual countable things. Use with some equipment, a lot of equipment. Unit, a piece of equipment. Alternative, a tool, a machine, or device. That piece of equipment is broken. 4. Luggage. Luggage is used as a whole. We don't count individual luggages. Use with some luggage, a lot of luggage. Unit, a piece of luggage, an item of luggage. Alternative, a suitcase, a bag, or a backpack. She had 3 pieces of luggage with her. 5. Help. Help is uncountable because it describes assistance in general, not individual items. Use with some help, a lot of help. Unit, a bit of help, or a piece of help. Less common. Alternative, assistance, support, or aid. I need some help with this project. 7. Work. Work refers to tasks or labor in general. It's not countable like works. Use with some work, a lot of work, much work. Unit, a piece of work, a task, an assignment. He has a lot of work to do before the deadline. 8. Traffic. Traffic refers to the overall flow of vehicles, not individual traffics. Use with heavy traffic, a lot of traffic. Alternatives, a car, a vehicle, a truck. There was a lot of traffic on the highway this morning. 9. Baggage. Similar to luggage, baggage is uncountable and refers to items collectively. Use with some baggage, a lot of baggage. Unit, a piece of baggage. Alternatives, a suitcase, a backpack, a travel bag. Each passenger is allowed 2 pieces of baggage. 10. Money. Money is a general term for currency, not countable by itself. No monies in daily speech. Use with some money, a lot of money, much money. Unit, an amount of money, a sum of money. Alternatives, a dollar, a coin, a note, a bill. She spent a lot of money on her vacation. 11. Homework. Homework is an activity, not individual tasks you can count with an S. Use with some homework, a lot of homework, much homework. Unit, a piece of homework. An assignment. Alternatives, a task. A school assignment. The teacher gave us a lot of homework over the weekend. 12. Research. Research refers to the overall process or body of investigation, not countable pieces. Use with some research, a lot of research. Unit, a piece of research, a study, a project. Alternatives, a study, an experiment. They're conducting important research on climate change. 13. Bread. Bread is a food category, not individually countable in its natural form. Use with some bread, a lot of bread. Unit, a slice of bread, a loaf of bread, a piece of bread. Alternatives, a bun, a roll, a baguette. Could you pass me a slice of bread, please? 14. Weather. Weather is a general concept and not something we count with an S. Use with some bad weather, good weather, terrible weather. Unit, none. Usually described by conditions or types. Alternatives, a storm, a sunny day, a snowstorm. We had really good weather during our trip. 15. Knowledge. Knowledge refers to understanding or information as a whole. It doesn't have plural forms. Use with some knowledge, a lot of knowledge. Unit, an area of knowledge, a bit of knowledge. Alternatives, a fact, a concept, an idea. He has a deep knowledge of history. Let's see how well you understood the lesson. I'll say a sentence. Your job is to decide if it's correct or incorrect, and then I'll explain. 1. She gave me some great advices before the meeting. X, incorrect. Advice is uncountable. You should say some great advice or a piece of advice. 2. I need to buy a few furnitures for my new apartment. X, incorrect. Furniture is uncountable. Correct form is some furniture or a few pieces of furniture. 3. Do you have any information about the event? Yes, correct. Perfect usage of an uncountable noun. Information doesn't take an S. 4. My luggages were lost at the airport. X, incorrect. Luggage is uncountable. Say, my luggage was lost, or my bags were lost. 5. He has deep knowledge of the subject. Yes, correct. Great use of an uncountable noun. Knowledge doesn't take an S. You've made it to the end of the episode. Well done. Before we wrap up, let's go over a few key things to keep in mind when it comes to uncountable nouns. First, remember this simple rule. If it's not something you can count one by one, don't try to make it plural. No S at the end. Just keep it singular and use helpful words around it. Instead of trying to count uncountable nouns, use quantifiers like some, much, or a lot of, or measurement phrases like a piece of advice, an item of clothing, or a bit of information. And if you're still unsure, try to think of a more specific, countable version, like saying a table instead of a piece of furniture. These small changes make a big difference in how natural and fluent you sound in English. And hey, don't worry if you've made some of these mistakes before. Every learner does. That's how we grow. The fact that you're listening and learning means you're already improving. Keep going. Thanks so much for spending this time with me today. By the way, we've prepared a complete PDF guide for this lesson, including all the examples, tips, and explanations you'll hear today. You can download it for free using the link in the description. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss what's coming next. And, as always, take care, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.